The clock in the lower right corner of your screen says 2:14 p.m. It is a Tuesday in October. Outside, the sky is the color of wet concrete. You are 30 years old, exactly 36 months into building this company, and you are staring at an inbox that hasn't moved in 2 hours. You are not bankrupt. You are not facing a catastrophic lawsuit. There is no fire to put out. Instead, there is just an overwhelming, suffocating stillness. Year one was fueled by adrenaline and the sheer novelty of existence. Year two was a scramble, a fight to prove the concept worked. But year three is just the grind. The initial momentum has evaporated, and the business has not yet generated enough gravity to sustain its own orbit. You are the engine, the fuel, and the mechanic. And you are tired. Not the kind of tired that a weekend fixes. It is a deep cellular fatigue, born from waking up every single day knowing that if you don't push the boulder up the hill, it rolls backward over you. The hardest part of year three isn't the work, it's the silence. When you launched, people clapped. Your LinkedIn announcement got 400 likes. Friends bought the first round of drinks to celebrate your leap. Now, nobody asks how the business is doing. They assume you are either wildly successful and don't want to brag, or quietly failing and don't want to talk about it. So you sit in the silence. You go to a dinner party on a Saturday. Your friend Sarah is complaining about her boss, but she does it with the relaxed posture of someone who will receive a direct deposit on Friday regardless of her mood. You nod and smile while a background process in your brain is calculating if a delayed client payment means you have to delay your own grocery run. You have become illegible to your friends. You are speaking a language of cash flow and customer acquisition cost that nobody else at the table understands. So you say nothing at all. Then comes the math. Not the vanity metrics, the real math. The Bureau of Labor Statistics notes that 49.4% of all new small businesses fail within their first 5 years. Nearly half. And sitting here at 2:14 p.m. on a Tuesday, you finally understand how it happens. It doesn't happen with a dramatic boardroom explosion. It happens exactly like this. It happens when the founder does the arithmetic of attrition. You open your profit and loss statement. You are making money, yes, but when you divide your net profit by the 70 hours a week you actually work, your hourly rate sits somewhere just below minimum wage. You are carrying $40,000 of risk on your shoulders to buy yourself a job that pays worse than the one you left. The numbers stare back at you, cold, and entirely indifferent to how hard you've worked. You realize that breaking even is just a polite way of saying you are working for free. You open a new tab. You go to a job board. You don't mean to. Your fingers just do it. You search for Director of Operations. The salaries pop up. $135,000, $150,000, fully remote, 401k match, 4 weeks of paid time off. You stare at the phrase paid time off like it's a spell written in a dead language. You open a blank email. You address it to your 2 contractors and your remaining clients. You start typing in your head, "It has been an incredible journey, but after careful consideration, we will be winding down operations." The relief that washes over you is intoxicating. The idea of just putting the weight down, of waking up tomorrow and not being entirely responsible for your own survival, of letting someone else worry about the invoices. You hover over the keyboard. This is the moment. This is where the 49.4% is born. It's so easy. You just have to surrender. You don't type it. You close the tab. You don't do it because of a motivational quote or a sudden burst of inspiration. You do it because you realize what the exhaustion actually is. It isn't a sign that the business is broken, it's a sign that your ego is dying. You realize you've been carrying the weight of trying to look like a successful founder instead of just operating a functional business. You have been over-delivering, undercharging, and maintaining expensive software subscriptions just to feel legitimate. Right there, at 2:45 p.m., you make a quiet, violent pivot. You decide to kill the glossy, impressive version of your company and embrace the ugly, unsexy version that actually generates profit. You double your prices for new clients. You cancel 3 services you don't need. You accept that growth might stall, but survival is the only metric that matters today. Year 5. You don't even remember when the shift happened. It wasn't a single day, but somewhere along the line, the flywheel caught. The price increases stuck. The bad clients churned out and were replaced by better ones. The systems you built in the dark, the ones that felt like pushing a boulder, finally smoothed out into a paved road. You take a Tuesday off. A real day off. The inbox fills up, but the automated systems handle the triage. The business breathes on its own. You feel a strange, unfamiliar sensation. Lightness. The weight hasn't disappeared, but your muscles have grown dense enough to carry it without trembling. You are 34. It is year 7. You are sitting on a flight, paying for Wi-Fi, looking at a dashboard that is entirely green. The company is doing multi-six figures in profit. You have employees now. You have the freedom you imagined when you first started. But you know the truth about how you got here. Here is what nobody tells you about surviving the business graveyard. The victory is not won on the day you launch, and it is not won on the day you hit your first million. The victory is won on a random Tuesday in year 3, when the sky is gray, the math is terrifying, and the urge to quit is pulling at you with the gravity of a black hole. It is won in the unglamorous, invisible decision to sit in the discomfort, kill your ego, and solve the next small problem. You look back at the 30-year-old version of yourself, staring at that blank email draft, and you feel a profound, quiet respect. They didn't have the momentum. They didn't have the proof. All they had was the willingness to stay in the seat for one more hour. You didn't need to be fearless to succeed. You just needed to outlast the Tuesday.